Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun, and we're live. Welcome everybody, and it's the weekend, so it's TFC Open Mic. This one's season 3, episode 25. This week's huge update. Let's talk about that because it's a bit of an epic one, I think. What have we had? Obviously, we've had the VXP weekend, which is rolling on now. The Primus campaign is on. The TLC Scorpion Sting Elite campaign's on. From the Ashes is on. Skyfire Elite campaign's on. Titans Rising is on. We've had some information, obviously, about the June FM updates and all the bits in there as well. There's some bug fixes and tuning, and a bit of PvP rebalancing, and the countermeasure, whatever you want to call that bit. What a week! Evening all. Hello, guys.
Bug fixes and tuning. Can I just start so I can rant about the turrets real quick? Because it wasn't like I noticed it and I said it last night, and some people started going, "Oh crap, it actually is." And bigger audience. Can I start? Really? Can I please just on the
let's break into sections. So let's try and wrap up then for the first 15 minutes is what we can talk about in PvP. So over damage isn't working at the second. Turrets seem to be changing their levels by themselves. Turrets all of a sudden one-shotting people or three-shotting people, and then obviously because they're going from multiplicative to additive and then back again by themselves. That's about all I've got at the moment. And anybody else got anything else?
Yeah, I just want people to go and check their turrets because I have had my special switch from one turret to the other. I've had my turrets go from level 9 to level 8. I had one go from level 8 to 9 and then back to 8 or something like that after it hit. There's some really funky stuff going on. So you know how Robin always suggests, hey, record your base and all that. Like, seriously, record y'all's bases because wonky stuff's going on. I don't know what to say at this point. I definitely want that out. I want people to go and check their bases, make sure your turrets are the same that they're supposed to be, because I know a lot of people right after it went to base parts made everything level 9. Go in and check them. There's a quick way to check them that I actually didn't know about until Robin told me. If you go into base planner, and then click the building level, and you can actually check them real quick. I actually was going around clicking on each one of them so I could, or hovering over each one to see. But go in and check your bases. And if you are finding that error, send in a ticket. Post it on the page. I think we have a post going right now about it. So just post into that one too, so we can show how many people it's affecting. But please check your bases. Yeah.
I noticed like 3 people this morning, you included, said, hang on a minute, I'm sure my turret was a level 9 yesterday, and all of a sudden it's a level 8, and someone actually said, mine's a level 7. And it definitely was a level 9 because the turret top and everything, the specials they had, it's a bit random. I don't know what.
And the funny thing, you were on when I figured out, like we were talking on a hangout when we found out, and it was a colorful discovery. I was not happy.
Colorful. Anyway, I suppose one thing has actually sort of like started to come back, and there's a bit of PvP going on. Venom, is that right?
A bit. Yeah. For at least my alliance, we're having a just joyful time. Myself included. I'm trying to get the 700 mark again. So if people would like to port to the 300 worlds with medals so I can take them, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, fun.
But you are finding the odd random base that's doing some funky turret stuff, yeah?
Oh, the funky stuff's just stupid. From people coming in with identical missile cruisers, one taking multiplicative damage and the next one taking additive damage in the same attack. It's just baffling how they can get so wrong. I've seen ships in one attack do more damage, like dramatically more damage than the next hit with the same fleet. The same fleet hit twice, completely different damage. The drones, I don't know what way they've got it set up for the driving of them drones, but they're just stupid in some occasions. Sometimes they just don't move. Sometimes they go off in a random location. Sometimes they stop and shoot. Sometimes they spin around in circles.
Out of curiosity,
it's mad.
have you seen any of them spawn 3 at a time instead of just 1?
Yes.
No.
I'm not gonna. Me and you are not gonna comment about that. No, you haven't seen it. Okay, I was curious.
The Haymaker drone. So those who aren't aware, obviously in the FM, obviously Prize Pack 5, there is a new drone module. It's for PvP, and obviously it's for your Tier 7 ships. And it does spawn 15 drones, I think it is, with a range of 15 on each one. So they will actually target certain things, but sometimes it just seems to sit still and do nothing. But maybe that's because there's nothing left that's in the range of 15. But yeah, I mean, their effect is supposed to be much greater. Hefe, when I were talking about it the other night, and I think a circumference of about 110-ish or thereabouts. I'm not really sure, but it doesn't say whether it's circumference or radius. But looking at the blast effect, I was on with Earth doing some testing as well, and it looked like the circumference was about 110 from the blast radius we saw.
I think it's associated with minimum splash. I think the range is probably correct, but the fall off from the center point to the extremes may take it below deflection.
Yeah, and it's really weird too, because I've seen a couple of hits where the drones get killed at about the same distance, and sometimes they do crazy damage to the fleet, and sometimes they don't scratch the fleet, and it's really strange.
Just on that, I had someone hit me, and the drone was blowing up on them constantly, and then all of a sudden it just take like 75% of their health in one go.
Yeah,
made no sense.
I think the epicenter, as you said, Heffy, that's probably right, isn't it? The closer they get to the splash effect, maybe, I don't know. And it's a little bit like mortars when they're coming. It's
yeah, because some of the old stuff would have a minimum splash of like 20%. Some of the old stuff, and so once you get at the extremes of the range, you may only be doing 20% of what you were doing in the center. And so therefore you would be falling below the deflection value, so you'd only be taking pass-through damage. So that's could be what we're seeing on some of this. And so the actual 110, 115 range in practice may not work against deflection-based ships. And that's pretty much the only thing you're going to run into.
The ones that I'm seeing, like the really, really just extreme ends, is the new ballista hull. I forget the damn name of it.
the
impacted cruiser. The impacted cruiser has some, like it's firing at the same time, and sometimes it takes nary a scratch, and other times it goes like a quarter to half health. I mean, it's insane, the difference. And the fall offs are usually a linear progression. You know what I mean? So it's, even if it was just a couple of spots, it's not going to make that much of a difference. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because I noticed in there was Earth did a 2-part video. The first part with TSM, and then the second part with somebody else, and that was just straight fleet versus fleet. And he had a Warden with the drone and a missile storm cruiser with all missiles, so it had really high explosive deflection. And he killed the missile storm cruiser and with 5 or 6 drones, just killed it. But you saw earlier in the example with TSM, he was launching tons at those missile storm cruisers. They were within the 115 range.
Yeah.
But he wasn't doing near that kind of damage. But in the fleet versus fleet, his drones were blowing up right on top of the missile storm cruiser and creating much higher percentage, 20% damage per hit fairly consistently.
Yeah, I mean, that's that video we're just showing here. It's just, I mean, it wasn't a proper hit. It was just to see what drones would do. I'm more interested in the blowing up range of them. And I mean, you can see it's like a explosive with a bit of, I don't know, radioactive or something. I'm not quite sure what it is, but
yeah, if you go to the end of that video, you'll see what I'm talking about, where it's just him versus a missile storm cruiser. It's like 4 minutes in or somewhere in that neighborhood. And you can see that he's doing a significant amount of damage when it explodes on top of it.
It's weird, isn't it? I have to say. Did he put that? Where did he actually put that video? Because that was just actually my replay in my base. That was. Oh,
okay. It's under his channel.
All right, I'll see if I can find it.
Okay. The other thing, I as far as using those in defense, The weird thing is, there still a griefing bubble of 8, and do they use that in bounty? You know,
It doesn't.
if you would,
I know it doesn't work in bounty because I've
okay,
had way more than 8 in a row try.
yeah, eight in an hour would give you a bubble, because the way that this charges you is your ship that launches it takes the damage when it's launched, not when the drone is killed. So somebody can come in and out of your base numerous times, causing that level of damage each and every time, not having to kill the drone. You know, you could go in with a gunboat and cause significant amount of damage to somebody's guard fleet if they have this drone equipped. I just wish they would go back to what we've seen in the past, where the damage cost associated with the drone is based on the drone dying, not the drone being launched.
Well, they just copied. Yeah, I think they just copied the Cadies.
So the Cadies takes damage when you launch them?
Yep. If you launch them, you come out no matter. Yep.
Okay, because previously, the old school drones, you would take the damage when they were killed, because they could swim back to the boat, or they could go back to the boat and it would not count against your damage at that point in time. Historically, I don't have a Cady, so I don't know the new mechanic, but that was the way it used to work.
Yeah, interesting. Hello, Rum. Evening.
Hello, guys. How's everybody?
It's a busy weekend, isn't it? There's a lot going on.
It is, indeed.
So, I mean, we're just looking at some of these events here. I mean, okay, the VXP weekend's going on. We're obviously trying to rank up these Proto Centurions. That's fun, isn't it?
Well, if you have the right boat, it's free.
Yeah, we won't talk about super hulls and that sort of stuff. But if anybody's just running them into and die, it's just like, what is it, 24, 28?
23 to 24 coins, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's easier. It's cheaper if you take a blank, because the Onslaught's what, a couple hours, like a 11-hour build. If you have 1 or 2 of those, it's a half-an-hour repair. Just let them tank. I think Hefe said use 1 on each side, and I think Ren does the same thing. I mean, I'll mention the super hull. The Cadies, thank you, Kevin, because if you stick everything just in front of that thing, they don't. If they take damage, it's not that much.
No, you're
you
right.
Can go through a ton of them. It's great.
It makes for ranking everything you've got pretty easy.
Far less frustrating, I'll say that much.
Sure is.
Still not building it. Oh dear. So yeah, VXP is on. You know, it's okay. People are trying to get their proto tides out as well as their proto Centurions. So two proto fleets. You know, the first 2, neither of them are cheap. The blank holes to fix. I mean, I know the idea is you're supposed to go in and take limited damage. You know, I did a quick proto tide seeker video today. I was quite content, I must admit. I did the daily scourge sort of target. Did that, and that was a 1 coin fix sort of stuff. And then I let I went and did obviously the new SSRB on the scourge side as well, and that was 36 minutes or something like that. So, you know, it's reasonable, but you've obviously got to have the time. I had lots of tokens. I was fortunate, but and you know, I saved up some money that I'd left over from the raid. So it's still frustrating that you still got to use these new ones. You know, there are plenty of ships that are about that we can't use, which is annoying. But.
Well, I kind of know why we're escalating the repair times of these hulls as they keep coming out, because one of the biggest gripes. Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest gripes that we have is the repair times. And instead of seeing, you know, it remains static, they just keep going up. And, you know, I can kind of understand if they're designing them for just raid. Yeah, it's half repair, so they want to try and find, you know, their breaking point or whatever. But then when these things go to the map, either you've got to tune them down or you've got to adjust the repair times to like half.
Yeah.
It's not. And then the build times, I'm glad you said that, because with the decreased availability of tokens, man, there's a lot of people not happy.
So first of all, you're saying they ignore 2/3 of the year. And you're right. I just want to point out that they're ignoring 2/3. Well, to be fair, we still don't have the new I guess they're now Legion base part targets. So they're ignoring half of the year, but that's only because they bork releases of most of these and have to pull things back a lot. And as for tokens, I mean, I'm just as annoyed as anyone else that there's not generic ship build tokens. Especially because there might be particular holes that players want to build that don't fit into the prescribed stuff that they want us to build. And even then, some of the players can't get these holes. What if you just didn't get the prototype in the last raid? Or the Manticore? Well, they offered Phoenix tokens, so I guess that's fair. Phoenix and Skyfire. But they are giving a lot more tokens for the holes that they want us to build. I think the problem is with these proto fleets, they're requiring so many more holes to be built that it doesn't really offset. It's not quite right still. We're still down in time.
It's not just that, though. The problem is that, you know, when you have X amount of specific hull tokens, your, you know, I guess maneuverability and build times kind of gets hit too, because if you're trying to do a refit or something of this or that, and you don't have that specific token, then you're eating into a generic token that you get from the FM. And those, since they've become more and more limited, you don't have options. Your options are dwindling in terms of what you can do, which way you want to go. Like if I want to finish a fleet and I don't have all the tokens, you know, what do? Do I go and build a fleet, another fleet now before the other one's finished because I don't have tokens? Or
that's the question. Yeah.
There's just, it takes away the player's options, and that's always a bad thing.
Yeah, I've just looked through a couple of fleets here. So Manticore, and that's the standard Manticore, not the flagship, to be fitted out to the reasonable fleet that we were using the other day. That's 17 days per ship. And then obviously the Inferno Dragon, which is also 16 days and 4 hours. And this is all R&D level 30. Tide Seeker is a little bit less, but obviously a pain to repair and rank, but 12 days for them. So that's, I mean, 12 days is what we'd expect to be seeing. But the extra 4 days per hull, and then times that by 4 or 5 ships, that's just not so much fun, is it? I don't know. It's a lot, and the thing is, you know, going back to the one hull that's supposed to be able to do each raid type and that sort of stuff. And I was saying, you know, well, are we building missile mantis or are we building scatter mantis? And then all of a sudden, you know, after that event done and dusted, well, what hull's coming out next? Because the proto something's going to be coming out, and then does that make the Manticore irrelevant? I don't know. We've got to build another set of ships. No one's finished. Well, very few have finished the Tides. I've seen one person that coined the Proto Centurion, and soon we're going to be on to another hull. You know, which is outside the FM format and it's outside the raid format.
Yeah, and one thing that we're seeing in the TLCs a lot too, because we had the Buccaneer and the Hydra. And the TLC that came out, you can't use the Buck. What happened to, you know, you get to pick which way you want to build and go forward, and yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean the Buck and the Hydra were one of the last ones where you had the both hulls to go forward and that sort of stuff. But you know, the Buccaneers are dead duck in 2 months.
But when we did that one, when that raid set came out, that's when they first said you're only going to need to build one of these. You don't have to build both of them. That's where they started saying that, and that didn't come true. And now people are scrambling to build a second fleet of Manticores now, just in case, because we're conditioned. They've conditioned us. It's their own doing.
And that's the Primus TLC at this moment. People that got Buccaneers only are struggling. Is that right? I heard Rob was saying something about that. Is it Primus? I haven't decided any of the TLCs. I haven't had time myself yet, to be honest. But one of the TLCs, apparently, the Buccaneers don't do well at all. And in fact, it was Ren that was saying it, if I'm rightly.
Yeah, it's the Primus one.
Yes, it's the Primus one. The issue we're having there is the same issue that you will have in the SSRBs.
Is it the walls again, is it?
Yeah, it's the walls. You just can't eat through the walls fast enough. So I got through levels 1, 2, and 3, and then my fleet was dead.
Yeah.
And that was price pack 1. It wasn't the hardest price packs. To be honest, I don't think it's going to be possible with Bucks to do it all without a huge cost.
So it's got to be Hydras Hydras or nothing, yeah?
Yeah, Hydras or Centurions.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a joke, isn't it? So you've got to create a fleet and coin a fleet to go and win the same fleet. That's a bit daft. So it's overpowered hydras, which I've literally just had to refit myself as well to try and get something done before I can get these. I mean, it's going to take ages to do these Centurions. I've got other things I need to get on with. I mean, I don't even know at the moment, and it's probably a good time. I don't even know, and I was doing quite well, 3 coins for each of the S sets and that sort of stuff, I don't even know if my ships are going to work in the next raid because there's countermeasure situation.
Yeah, I think somebody was warning about those countermeasures last week.
I have no idea, Hefe, what the heck to do. I mean, I did say I was going to, and I'll probably do it tomorrow because I'm sort of like home alone tomorrow. So I've got 90 or 99 icebreaker tokens and that sort of stuff. And what I thought I'd do is find somebody and then just do a bit of ship for ship and then go and do some targets on the PvE side and then just keep recycling the ships around, and seeing which countermeasure actually does something, do it in an FM target and then do it on, random targets anyway. I've got a stack of other sort of, Citadel Turk. I've got 99 of them as well. So I'll just keep flipping coins, can stay in my pocket, but I'll just burn off some of those one-day tokens. Even if I just coin a ship completely, build a ship completely and then just bin it straight afterwards. I've got plenty of tokens, so I might have a look at that tomorrow. See if we can work out what. But I found in that example that somebody else was doing, I can't remember who it was, I think Misty was doing one, where you put, a single ship in that's got a countermeasure on it, and that's fine. But then you introduce a second ship with a different countermeasure, and it seems to nullify the first one. It seems really random.
Yeah, I mean, we were told that they were going to modify the target so we didn't see any changes in the countermeasures related to the PvE part of the game. That doesn't appear to be happening either on the FM targets or the raid targets that we're now experiencing in the VXP weekend.
Which FM targets?
I think all of them except for the 117.
Okay, that would be why. Because I was doing 117s and I was getting about the same damage range as I was before. But if it's everywhere else, uh-oh.
Well, the 111 has been recalibrated twice, hasn't it? I mean, that was initially done when the FM kicked in. Then people said, there were fleets were melting, everything. Icebreakers were gone in 2 or 3 turrets to start with. People were having to go back and drag out zealouses and 2 or 3 ships to go with them, whether it was 2 zealouses and a couple of icebreakers. And then they got remodeled again. And I know Robot had to go back in again, I think it was yesterday morning, and have another look at the target. And then now someone said that the target actually has slightly changed. But I haven't looked at one recently.
Well, the Zealous was nerfed too, wasn't it? Because its duality should now only target like a phalanx, unless it's a mortar. It won't shoot at missiles multiple times, as I understand it.
Yes, it'll shoot morts down more effectively, but missiles less effectively, since they're not changing the missiles, the amount of times it's going to hit a missile, but they're changing the accuracy to make it lower. So previously it would have a high accuracy, and the same with morts, but only shoot once at that. Now it'll have a lower accuracy, but it'll shoot morts more effectively. I think it was
right.
It was
in
more
which category?
I think it was more to fix the Night Watch issue rather than anything else.
In which category do UAVs fall into? Do they fall into the mortar category or the missile rocket category?
No, because that's sprints and tridents and that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Well, anything fire, pretty much everything fires the UAVs, but I'm not certain if that's
the UAV. The UAV sits on its own, so if a gale fires at it, it'll continue to fire unless I believe it gets tagged by a phalanx, and then it won't get fired on again. And then what we found out recently was when the UAVs finally get to you, you stop shooting at them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know why, but that's it. Once they spawn and actually the UAV drone goes down, that's it. You've had it. That's the problem.
You can't shoot at it after it makes its leaps or jumps or whatever it calls it. It's changed. Once it changed, you can't. Yeah.
But it's interesting. I wasn't sure whether what would actually change mostly was the effect to counter cold snaps and that sort of stuff, because most of the damage always used to come in from not necessarily the executioner, because that would just be a single ship. It was normally the cold snap effect, and just the fact that icebreakers were literally just getting melted in one cluster of turrets, that can only be really the splash effects and not necessarily the missiles. So, There's a huge lack of trust in countermeasures at the moment. I really don't have an answer yet. You know, like I said, I'll spend a couple of hours tomorrow. I might just do it as a stream so people can jump in. Then I'll do it just after lunch maybe, so some of the guys in the States will be up then, and just do it live and just, you know, let people jump in and give some suggestions as well, because it's going to be a bit of a team effort, I think, because I honestly don't know which way to go. I generally don't trust the blueprints at the moment. I mean, they said they're going back to what they should be. Well, we're used to them being as they are. That's the problem.
Well, except for, let me read this. To ensure this is a discussion from Major Rampage, his post. This is a paragraph out of his post regarding this. To ensure this does not dramatically change your gameplay experience, the team is working to rebalance the targets that have been released since the bug was introduced back in February. This process may take several weeks, and during that time, please do not hesitate to make note of your experience through feedback so we can ensure we can balance combat accordingly. Due to the large number of targets and variety of builds that people use, we're counting on coordination with the community to stabilize this aspect of gameplay and appreciate your input. The way I read that is they've made the changes to the countermeasures to rebalance the PvP part of the game, and it shouldn't have, in theory, any impact on the PvE part of the game. They're the targets that they create, but that's not what we're seeing. And you may make a change, and you may go out and do testing tomorrow, but they have several weeks that they can be changing.
Yeah. But that's a bit like the known knowns and the unknown unknowns, isn't it? You know, if you all the known unknowns, you know, at the moment I know that a sprint needs to go and be tested, for example, you know, in a set target. Okay, great. Well, I can go and test that tomorrow morning. You're right. But the inability of testing the unknown unknowns, i.e., the interaction between one countermeasure and another countermeasure in a set target, the multiple sort of effects you can have mixing the 5 or 6 different countermeasures in a single target, you know, that's exponential, really. You know, you'd be talking probably 100 different tests. You know, that's a crazy amount of things to have to go and do just to try and explain what is going on in your own mind, so you can actually then, you know, communicate that across, which is not straightforward in any way, shape or form, is it?
Yeah, I just don't understand why they did it. I mean, they haven't made the player experience any better by doing this. And I don't think anybody was saying that countermeasures are too strong in people's bases, or my countermeasures are too strong when I'm attacking a base. I don't think there was any complaints associated with this. And I did find it a little bit distasteful after they made this change that it had so many impacts in the FM that they started selling build tokens for the Inferno Dragon.
Yeah, I clocked that as well.
Yeah, I didn't like,
because that's always the solution.
We made a mistake, and now we pay for it.
Yeah, selling tokens is a really quite distasteful. It's just, it just leave a bitter mouth. You know, you've done all that there. Like I said, you know, the freaking build for that ship, you know, and you've done it, and you've also changed the build a couple of times. You know, it's 16 and a bit days, and all of a sudden you've got to go and rip off 4 or 5 items off each one, which is another two days at least in each hull, you know, and they're hinting towards the biggest saving there. There was I think it was 47% off or something, the 10-day pack, you know, which is giving you a bit of an indication. Well, that's a couple of days, you know, 2.5 days off of each ship, which is almost guiding you as to what you need to spend almost. But why should we? Why should we pay out for that sort of stuff? It wasn't our mistake.
Exactly. That hull is probably. Yeah, that hull is probably the most refit hull I've ever owned in this game. And it's because the target keeps getting changed. Because, you know, like I had Mag 3 on it. I still have Mag 3 on it. I eventually want to change it out because now that they've changed the target, the advantage of that from when we first started it's gone. So I just have, and the Mag 3 is not a quick fit to a ship, you know? So I have to refit all of those just to get back to a base area so I can start testing again, because this is just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone back to the RFX engine. That's what I went back to, you know, the one with explosive reload.
That's the one that I'm going to eventually get. Well, I'm eventually going to refit to that. But why am I spending my shipyard time on an adjustment because of something that they did in the game? And then to make matters worse, they're actually, I mean, to offer tokens to correct an error or a mistake or anything that they've done it's abominable. It's horrible. It's horrendous. It's just poor business practice.
I think they should just gifted some tokens, but they were only refit tokens, not build tokens. You couldn't do it for initial builds, but just for refitting, it would have made life a lot easier.
Just to play devil's advocate here, it was quite ironic with timing of the tokens being released. Yes, it coincided with FM, there being issues there, but it also came along at the same time as Rampage reports, where he stated very clearly that we're going to have the new flagship coming.
Yeah.
My concern is this flagship's going to force us to do a lot of changes to our fleet, because we've already got the fleet set up for.
And they'll probably tune the targets for us having the flagship.
Yeah, I'm actually expecting the target to change. Like I'm expecting there to be like a 120. I can't see them continuing on the 117, even though it's just horrendously damaging us. John, whatever you got playing in the background, your mic's picking it up, FYI. So I'm a bit concerned about that target. Like if it's going to change or if it's if they retune it, that's going to be kind of crappy because we're used to the 117 or we're still trying to get used to the 117. If they make a new target now, all those players that can't get to the 117 already, what are they going to do? Get rid of the 111 and start forcing people to go up to the 112 and 117? I mean, we're already on the knife's edge on the FM with the way players view it. I don't know. I'm very concerned.
Yeah, so as you see on the Rampage report as well, he noted that, or he stated that the flagship will come out actually in the next raid. It'll be the #1 prize, and we thought it was going to come out in a TLC, but it's not. It sounds like it's going to be the main prize for July.
Yep.
Are they going to put it in the lock store? Is my question.
Well, I suppose since the proto was on the right-hand side of the ladder, then I suppose it's going on the right-hand side of the ladder, and then below that would probably be the normal dragon, and then the weapon and the special. I don't know. I'm guessing.
But then they'd have to have a new weapon or special for it.
Brian, be quiet.
Escalation! Yay!
Yay! Your fleets are good for a year, guys. Wait, what?
Yeah, and they're going to have the build tokens still at 8 million each. Well, they dropped them down to 4 this time.
Maybe they're working in dog years.
No, that's funny.
Oh, Venom, you got to make a meme for that one. That was good.
We'll try.
Yeah, I know it's a different time zone, but I didn't realize that obviously, the number of days in the year were different, but whatever. I'm not so sure. Right, look, let's talk about some things that are good and positive. Okay, so PvP, okay, there's quite a few people actually out hitting at the moment. It's a bit messed up in areas, but at least some people are doing it. So that's a positive thing to do. Acknowledge the fact they were quite responsive, quite quick. The fact that, yes.
I have nothing in the background.
Okay, you're good, John. Yeah, I can't hear it. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds good to me. I don't have any issues, I must admit, at the moment with the response times. They seem to be reacting quite quick at the moment to problems that they've caused themselves, a lot of them, but at least they are sort of like jumping on the forums, on all the pages, listening a little bit, and then going, right, we're going to do an immediate change, like the 111 and the FM, Robot was straight onto it and tried to make some adjustments, And Ren, it was Ren that was said to me during the week that no matter how much testing you do, sometimes, it just doesn't work out when it goes into a live game. I don't know why. I'm not a programmer, but it just doesn't work. So at least they're not like leaving it for a full week.
Yeah, I will say it seems the direction that they're going in terms of communication, it seems like it's getting better.
I have nothing reactive in the background, but I'm getting everybody's talking at the same time.
And refresh and fix your stuff because it's fine here.
Yeah, they seem to be pretty reactive to a lot of stuff. Not everything, not yet. I hope that changes and they get better overall. I've seen Rampage be very active on the forums, which is a plus. Maybe he can bring the forums back. I don't know, because people have been, I don't know if they've left on their own in droves, but I knew they had, they had help with a certain mod. But it seems like they're getting to the point where they're starting to listen, starting to try and correct issues. It's not as fast as we'd like. I mean, a lot of us have been playing for several years, getting close to 10, almost a decade, and so we have a very long history with this game, and their devs, there are people there. I mean, Rampage has been there what, a year and a half. So for them to get into it, they're probably not quite as in tune with the game as we are, but I like the direction that it started going. They're starting to listen, they're starting to react. I don't know that they quite understand just yet how we view the game and certain aspects of the game, like the FM, for example. But it's definitely a positive direction right now. I would like to see it continue, though. That's the only catch.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else got any points on delivery, output, that sort of stuff they want to cover?
Yeah.
It's a little frightening that they've had to quickly take back so many things after introducing them. Just this week, we've had multiple changes to the FM targets. We've had levels 3 or prize packs 3 and 4 of the Primus TLC taken back, and we've had the entire one for the Manticore tokens, whatever that one's called. That's been taken out after there were cold snaps in the target. I want to know how you
on the positive
cold snaps in that.
Yeah, but on the positive side, they actually were very quickly reactive to that. Instead of letting us just suffer through like they had in the past, they kind of got on it and pulled them and did something, which is a plus. That's definitely an improvement from the past. Now, the next step in that, if they can continue that direction, is to, I don't know, release it without being screwed up. That's the goal. So at least they're getting there, slowly but surely.
And we also, maybe for that, maybe for other things, we did get some compensation in the form of 2 12-hour repair tokens. That'll fix your Manticore fleet, or maybe one of your other fleets twice. So
yeah, and that's the only part that like I kind of was like, how come they didn't say this? Like they didn't post anything about this. They did say it in Rampage's report, but it was like a day, wasn't it? Like a day after they had given it to us, or 2 days after they had given it to us. So it should have been someone should have said something before we got them, so we understood what was going on. Because people were like, "Oh, is this from a ticket? What's going on?" Nice surprise, though. I will say that.
I'd have thought they wanted to put it up on the forums, because it would have been like, "Hey, we're doing a nice thing. Look at this nice thing! Yay!" But I don't know what they're thinking anymore.
It is odd. Yeah. I don't know what to say, to be honest. TLC wise, okay, Scorpion Sting Elite campaign. Who's been doing that one? Anybody particularly?
What does that give you again? There's like 5 campaigns.
Yeah, so that's the Scorpion Sting one. So prize pack 1, that's a Stinger missile, and some Manticore VXP if you need it. Strike System 5, obviously, as well. And then obviously some more tokens again, and then a 24-hour build token. That's price pack 2. Price pack 3 is the Scorpion CIC, and obviously more VXP tokens and 2 more magical build tokens. If you get a chance to do it, I would do this TLC anyway, even if you've already done it, because you've got some more build tokens. Bear in mind what we said about the countermeasures. And then the mastery round, which you can do 3 times, which you get the skin. Well, irrelevant whether you put the skin on or not. It's just nice to. I've used the skin on 2 of my ships, I must admit, because 2 of them I've got sprints on and 2 of them I haven't. And 2 of them and the flag have got obviously the new CIC on as well. So that's how I identify the difference between the ships. But yeah, but you still get another 3 24-hour Manticore build tokens as well. So there's quite a few build tokens that are available, and I would stack those up if you get the chance and save them, to be honest, because they're specific to that hull. So what's the stack capability for Manticore?
You can only have 10, right?
10.
Yeah. So yeah, watch that, because Earth had that problem. He can't get into doing any of the TLCs at the moment because he hasn't got. Unfortunately, he's already got 10, so he's a bit stuffed. So he wanted to get to stack up some more, but he can't do it, which is a bit frustrating. All the newer holes are doing that, aren't they? 10 seems to be the max count of a lot of the stuff.
Considering
which really
how
sucks.
Considering how soon they make these holes obsolete by introducing a newer, different version, like the Proto Centaurian that we can start building this week.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're capping it. It would make sense if they really did plan for longevity and they didn't want you to suddenly spring forth and just have a second fleet all of a sudden. But they're also kind of.
Why wouldn't you want them to? I mean, the thing is that most of the people that want to stack up tokens like that are the ones that like me. I mean, I like tweaking builds.
Yeah.
And it's much easier to tweak. Like if I find a build that I want to tweak to, or I have an idea, and it's like 3 days a refit by 5 ships, that's 15 days. And then if I have to refit it back, that's another 15. That's 30 days of build time. I mean, that's one of the things that we used to love doing in this game back in the day.
Exactly saying that the game is just, this game is worked off discovery method. There's a lot of it that's done by testing, tuning, adjusting, and that sort of stuff. And you're right, George. And I'm the same sort of thing. Like I just said for tomorrow, icebreakers, I'll use up all the tokens that I need until I get some sort of example of what seems to be working. And I can burn those tokens off. I'm quite happy to do that. Because I've got the tokens to do it. It's not as if I need to build another fleet, because that ain't going to happen for some days. But at least I can do some basic testing and then actually work out something that makes sense.
Yeah, it's another aspect of the game that we've lost that I think really needs to get back into the game. And the problem is the only way to do that is being able to stack a ton of tokens. And now, again, our options are being limited yet in another way, that way as well.
So it seems to be just the tier 7 stuff, doesn't it? Because I'm just looking down through the list of tokens I've just looked in. Everything seems to be 99 until you get down to, manticores. In fact, it's the manticores and
well, they started it with the generic, what was it, the siege? Crap, what was it?
The assault tokens, we were limited to 2.
Yeah.
The generic assault tokens, I think, is a limit 2, something that's really ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, even the Infernos can go to 99.
Yeah, the siege ones can go to 99, and the skirmish ones can go to 99, and then it was the... was it assault ones? It was one of the other ones that was limited to like 2 or something dumb. And that's where that's where I remember it starting.
My guess is they're going to keep the load limit until they start selling. Can you? Well, you can buy mana core tokens, can't you?
Yeah, but you can't stack past 10, can you? Oh, yes, you can. So you can have 40, can't you? If you want to buy it, because one of the deals was, I think it was 40, wasn't it?
But you can
probably overload, yeah.
I mean, I didn't touch any of them, but
I don't see why. I think they had that problem before, and they wanted to try to counteract that by if you buy and offer it's special, because there's no way they'd sell. Okay, there was a way they tried to sell you something, and it overloaded you, and then they screwed it up. So hopefully they fix that and actually remembered it going forward. But kicks in memory, I don't know. That happened before the start of this year, so maybe they didn't do that, because we were told at the start of this year that our fleets would be good for a year, and that's not really the case.
Well, yeah. Well, a couple of the ships. I mean, I'm looking at the dock now. Hang on, let me just go through my dock and let me just see what I'm still using.
My sloths have lasted a long time.
Yeah. So the bus is lasting a long time, and Skyfire's still one of the best holes. GDR, bless him, still one of the best holes that was being made in the last 18 months. There's a few gluttonies. I mean, they're not so usable as they were, but they're still kicking around just about. Icebreakers, if you want to hit the lower targets, I suppose, and everything else I've recycled. I've got nothing left, to be honest.
Yeah, and there were some that never had a purpose, like the oppressor.
Yeah.
The what?
That's not entirely true, though.
That was that week in June at Bandcamp, right?
It had
the incinerator.
Some purpose
I thought you were going to say the Rage Fleet.
The Gridiron Monolith.
Put the Man of War in there. Why not?
Yeah.
Some holes just never quite, had the longevity that we were hoping for. It's just
So,
yeah.
so to answer the actual question that was posed 10 minutes ago, because that's where we are. I've been doing that campaign, the Manticore one, with R5 Phoenixes, and I took tokens that I got from another TLC and put the new missile on them, and I think a couple of other specials. And holy crap, this is fun.
Yeah. So Phoenixes, I put a build up on the page. If you put the stinger on it, and you don't have to have retroed, you can just leave 2 slots open, and you can go from about 600,000 to 2.5 million damage.
In damage,
that you can deliver. And you can speed them up. In fact, where are mine? To be honest, I might be able to show people. I think I put it on the page. I'm pretty sure I did. But they are good fun now. They're much faster because obviously they do turn quite quick. So Magnus Drive 3 I've put on them. Strike warheads and the advanced optical tracking. But yeah, the Stinger missile is fantastic because obviously it does 10k worth of damage before you start putting the old the stack effects on it as well. So you can soon whack up it's turned it into a bit of a junk fleet because obviously it was outclassed massively by the Skyfires. Into it's my go-to fleet now if I'm driving for 85 because it's all instant damage and I can just literally speed past everything. So even the radiation fireballs that come at you can just run right past it and it hits all behind you. So it's quite a good. And they one shot the big hulks that are in there as well and that sort of stuff. So it makes life a lot easier.
Nice.
But quick.
So your next option or your next project is going to be to find a good build for the Visagos Punisher, right?
Yeah.
Have they got the age limit on those yet?
No.
Those poor newbies that get the Punisher in the FM and hear there's a flagship for it and want it all of a sudden.
I remember the raid. I remember the raid where they made that like the only obtainable prizes for like mid to low level players, and I was like, what a disservice because the build time is like 18 days. Just about, it was something. Yeah, and it was the only thing available, and all these guys. Oh, I got the Visago Punisher, and I'm building it. I'm like, well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not going to be playing the game.
The best thing about it is the color. Everything else.
Yeah, the artwork was great.
Yeah, it really was.
They did their copyright free superhero thing. It was a good time.
It was a real shame because the Punisher was an excellent ship, and we thought, right, this Visago one's going to give them another, 2 or 3 months life. It did nothing. It was just horrendous to build, horrendous to fix, and didn't achieve nothing. What a shame. Apart from a bit of artwork, like the bus, it was a bit of a damn squid. But anyway, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yes. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, so that's that Scorpion. Yeah. So you're managing with some interesting ships there, Brian. That's good.
They're just Phoenixes. I mean, I didn't want to use my Mantis because I'm refitting them again, but I can do it for instant fix. I remember how the targets go, and you just go fast, and it's instant fixed up. They're on the map or in dock, and I'm onto the mastery rounds. So, yeah, if I did it, you guys can do it.
Is that with your lag that you're getting?
Yeah, it's even worse than the Primus or the Protocent one because that's a perfect segue. That's another TLC this week that I've been doing, and it's all right, I guess. You have to use Hydras, which is really annoying for people that actually believed kicks out, and they were like, yeah, you need to build one, and one's fine, but then they do that and you die in a target. But it's been okay. It's been a few hours of damage each time. Does it go 4, 5, 7 targets? I feel like it.
Yeah, the last 2 rounds were repeated, the same number of rounds, wasn't it?
And I think one of the toughest things this week is just how much stuff there is because
to do. Yeah,
you have to do Protosents and the Manticores. Those are high priority items, and you've got to do 3 prize packs and then 3 mastery runs for the Manticore. So 6 runs. Then you've got to do 3 runs and then 5 mastery runs of this other thing with all new targets for the Protosent and to get the limited stuff.
Mm-hmm.
and then there's VXP weekend, and then the FM. The points requirement for the FM is just ballooned out of control with the whole. They moved the charged armors up.
Yeah, that's
at the tier 4.
frustrating, isn't it?
And the concussive armor cost 300,000, and it is now worth 300,000 in any capacity. The corrosive armor is up too, and I think it's 150. And the missile armor is 150, and I forget what the explosive armor is, but it's weird because they're raising the prices of all of these charged armors, but in the raid, the current raid cycle, and in the FM, where you still have a lot of charge left over after you're done your target, and they introduced in a D5XM armor, they're really trying to go away from charged armor. And I'm working on an article right now about trying to compare the two.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes. And it's, just in theory, I haven't refitted the armors or anything, but there's all that. And then there's the limited drone module that I forgot was limited, and it's like 1.2 million twice. In addition to all the limited in tier 3, that's like a crappy Phalanx 2 and a weird wannabe hyper what's it system and other stuff. That you have to get like 3 million more points for this. And other than the drone module being the limited prize, the limited prizes in tier 4 don't seem like they'll be of any use. The Hyper 10 is all right if there's literally nothing else you want to put onto a hull. But I can usually find stuff, even with 6 special slots. There's a lot of specials in this game.
There is. What do they say? They put in 100 items into the FM or something? Is in total now?
Something like that. I didn't bother to read it.
I think that's what they were saying. They put like 100 items, or there is now 100 items or something like that in the FM.
And it would be wonderful as in the future, because they keep on adding items to the FM. But in the posts that we get in the forum, they give us a entire list of everything that's in there, as opposed to a change list. We've removed this, we've added that. Then it's a much more digestible. I'm not going to go through the hundreds of items that are in there to see what's changed, personally.
And we don't even remember what there was before necessarily, right?
Yeah, it's just poor data parsing on the way I see it.
So
they should just show us the changes, not the complete list.
So while we're on the topic of bunches of items we have to scroll through, can we get a non-garbage sort function for specials? Can you do that, Kix?
Yeah, that would be nice.
The what we have now is just awful. Movement's kind of nice because it just combat speed and turn speed, but like offense, that's way too varied anymore. I think we should be able to sort, like, we could have a little search bar on the side where we start typing in the name of we think what it is, and hopefully we remember the right thing, or we look for the specific stat we want it to increase. Like, I want to find things that increase scatter reload, please, or multi-shot, and it will give me the list of special items that affect multi-shot or whatever I put in.
By function would be awesome.
Yeah, looking down and scrolling through, I have to remember exactly what minute thing is different in these smaller pictures to see what's what.
And you got to remember what it looks like.
You have to exactly what it looks like, because they're running out of names and they're running out of graphics too.
You need a photographic memory most of the time.
And some of them, like the difference between shielded tactical and the other one, is just like a slight blue difference in one area versus the other. You know what I'm talking about? What's the other one? The newer one?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, that's like turrets though as well, isn't it? But there are a couple of, you're right. I mean, looking at things, hang on a minute, the roaring barrels is one, isn't it? It's the new one, the roaring barrel system. And then you go into the onto Scourge, and obviously then you've got the scatter system, the older one, which came out with the glut.
And you got the radiation one that looks like it too.
Yeah, I was looking through to plug PSM. He made a video about the scatter manticores that he was using at the time. And I looked through your build, and I had put roaring barrel system in because that's what I assumed you used, but that's not it.
And you couldn't stack them because, that's why I had to go back to the other one.
Because they have the same stats, and that's fine. I just couldn't, for the life of me, see what you actually had, and then actually go and find it in the game, in the actual special screen. It was too hard. It took me way too long to find it.
Yeah, I was chatting to Huggies actually today quickly on his page, and he's been away a bit, so he's updating all from the raid going forward. He's working on that this weekend, so he's got the 3 key updates that he's working on. So, like I said, that exact build I was saying that all I had was the Kixeye hex keys, so I couldn't actually put up a Huggies build because it would have been obviously easier for people. But it's a valid point. You know, some of the things look so similar. It does make it a little bit tricky sometimes.
And there's hundreds of them on the screen. You know, as far as special zone, there's hundreds of them as well. It's maddening.
I'm just trying to have a quick look now. I can't remember. I had it up the other day. Wasn't it 124 or something like that? Specials as well?
No, I think it's way more than 124.
It was 124 holes. Sorry, 124 holes.
Yeah. The specials, I can't remember off the top of my head, but between the research ones and the blueprint ones, there's more than 200.
I mean, at least the research ones are easy to find because there's not that many of them.
In fact, because there's 90 just Forsaken. No, Draconian, sorry. But have a look at the Forsaken. I'm just looking on Huggies now. How many has he got? So he's got how many in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, there's 150, 160 in the Forsaken, just in Forsaken of specials. Good gosh. Yeah, that's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I offered at one point if they sent me just a spreadsheet with all the known data, I would try to break it down into like 15 to 20 categories, but like, we got it covered. I'm like, okay. Because I've been playing the game a long time, and I know what players want, you know. We want something, you know, figure out if it adds turret defense, splash, you know, building damage. There's a whole bunch of categories that you could pull down and allow players to sort on those items because, you know, like range, you know, missile range extension, because it's like they're all over the place. Like if you want to add range to your missiles within those 200, they're not in one place. They're all over the place. It's very difficult.
And also, even because I was looking for Strike System 5 to put on my missile manticores, it's got 1, 2, 3 on like the bottom left of a row, and then the next row up, 4 and 5 are reversed. It goes 1, 2, 3, 5, 4.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So Wayne's in chat there, and he said there's 272 ship specials because he's obviously got a spreadsheet.
Lord.
He's got a converter, so 272, and that's at the moment, you know.
Yeah, and there's not going to be less of them. So they need to do something to index them.
So it's not surprising it's quite difficult to understand some of the builds.
Yeah.
When we said about the complexity, when we said about the interaction between different specials, you know, and as the game was, you know, 8 years ago when it started out, and we had like, you know, 6 things we could put on, and if it's, I mean, okay, not everything can have everything on it, but when you're talking about the math equation of 272 different specials, and then obviously the fleet types across the 5 different variants of fleets, you know, and then you split it between the PvE and the PvP stuff as well.
And also the fact that you can't really see them if it's blocked out. If you have something that doesn't allow you to stack it with it and it's blocked out, you can't really see what that is unless you really know what you're looking through. And like having to like, you know, because they turn the darkness like and the contrast way down, so you can barely tell if it's blocked out. So you can spend a long time going through that list trying to find what you thought you were looking for, and then realize it's in that block group.
Oh, that drives me crazy.
There's one better than that. It's when you put the Kixeye hash and somebody gives you, when you copy it in, all of a sudden the special starts flashing from one thing to something else and then flashing back again and to and fro. And you're like, what is that special? You can't actually work out what it is. So it's like it's got like an overview of another special sitting on top of the same slot.
That's not even the Kixeye hash. That happens to me a lot. If I just pull up a fleet and somebody asks me what your build is, and I try to take a screenshot or vice versa, it's showing the wrong specials. But
like superimposing specials on top of other specials that aren't actually there. Yeah.
It would do that for me for entire builds. It was like, why do I have cannons on my Hydra fleet? No, No, I don't.
I could answer that, but I'm not going to.
I wanted Primus on hard mode.
Oh dear. I don't know. Oh, even at the hour. That was a lot of rabbit in for an hour, wasn't it? Flipping heck. What did we learn off that? I'm not sure if we learned anything.
No, not much.
I don't know if we learned anything tonight. So
Go check your
Everything is
base.
on
That's what we
fire,
learned
there's too many
tonight.
Yeah,
TLCs.
go check your base.
Check your base.
yeah, everybody knows that fixing proto fleets is expensive. Ranking them unless you've got a KDs is hard work.
They're not manticores though.
Oh no, not manticores. The proto systems. Yeah.
They're a lot easier. You'll. By the way, the C1CR armor is the best armor in the game.
C1CR.
Yeah,
Well,
because it
You've been
has
doing math,
both.
haven't you?
No, it's got both resistances,
Yeah.
and it's got the deflections, and it's got no repair time added. It has charge. Its charge is really small, but basically, even though you take it, it doesn't look like much. It's only 18%, and when you get up really high, that number may seem really small. But 98% versus 99%,
Oh, it's huge.
that's still
isn't it?
half the damage you're taking.
Yeah, it's huge.
So it's better than the 9,000 extra charge that you get for the normal charge, and all that. And it's really light, and it's quicker to put on than C1C or C1R.
Yeah, this
And
is
it's
for
only good for
Proto
Siege,
Centurions.
that's the
Yeah, Proto Centurion builds.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the best.
Definitely. Yeah. I was thinking about putting some out on my Hydras. I've got some Hydra tickets left over, so
I did that for this TLC, and I think it's actually done a little worse, but I don't think that's because of the differences. I think I'm just doing it wrong, because you lose charge in that target a lot. You're out of charge like 2 or 3 times for each level by the time you're done. So that if the charge doesn't matter so much, you buff up your resistances, like you did with the Buckies in the last few S targets. So it should help.
yeah. Bite me in the chat. Just put it's going to be proto everything soon. Proto culture and then protoplasma and proto proto of the world. Yeah.
Proton, Proto N.
Yeah. So FM targets, interesting. I mean, somebody said this morning said the 111 after Robot looked at it, actually he moved a couple of the items around in the target himself. I don't know if that's the case. I haven't touched one now for a few days, so I might pop in tomorrow, like I said, if I'm going to do this countermeasure, or at least have a stab at having a look at these countermeasure thing. If it pans out, fine. If it doesn't pan out, I'll just stop it and give up. But I'll burn off some of the tokens I've got, quite a lot. There'll be some random ships, but at the end of the day, the countermeasure is a countermeasure. It won't make a difference. So, although I'm not going to put it on the Zealous because I don't want to run on the duality effect. I want to see what the actual true countermeasure does. So that'll be a bit of a
Fun times.
bit of a waste of an hour. I think I need to do it. Oh dear, I don't know. Right, come on, let's go across the board. We've hit the hour because otherwise I'll just rabbit on and talk about nothing really, to be honest. Right, Brian, anything you want to cover before we sack it?
I think there's way too much to do this week between all the mastery runs of all the TLCs and VXP weekend and the FM point increasing and the repairs that you need for each of these subsequent things. It's just too much for 1 week. I think they should extend some of these TLCs, especially the Protocent and the Manticore one.
Okie dokie. George, yourself?
A couple things, actually. One, there's an article that Brian wrote that I forgot to actually publish, and we just published it just now. He reminded me because I just was daft, I guess. I don't know. That one's out. I want people to check their bases, make sure, and I wouldn't just check once or twice. Like I'm checking mine every day to make sure that I don't lose another bloody turret. To go from level 9 to level 8, I just check it. Make sure you take some pictures or something, or a screenshot of maybe your base. Your base planner where it shows all the levels. And then the one thing that I would like to leave with kicks is to contemplate what it means to the players. Like when you guys are asking us to do a bunch of these things or having all these crazy repair times, when you have something in your dock to repair, again, this is something I think they don't quite understand. If I have something in my dock repairing, it's going to preclude me generally from doing anything else in the game, particularly if that's something that I view as a chore, like VXP weekend. If I have to suicide my stuff, I'm not doing anything else. I'm not going to be hitting bases. I'm not going to be doing TLCs. I'm not going to be doing anything else because I have to have crap repair, and I can only repair one thing at a time. So, I would like them to maybe sit down and think about what it is they're asking of their player base in terms of repairs, because wow, that's about it.
Yeah, I have to say, build time's growing, fix times not pleasant. I know what they're going to say. You don't kill your fleet, you just take a bit of damage and then you go and fix it. That doesn't help it when you get sniped.
Or when you're trying to rank them.
Yeah.
Or if you lag out and, God forbid, your fleet just stops and takes all the damage and dies. I mean, there are several things that happen in the game, and especially if someone gets frustrated because something like that happened, they're going to hit repair and walk away.
Well, actually, that's a good point, because that's exactly Brian's situation now. He's changing from missiles, aren't you, on your Mantis, or considering it, and going back to scatters just because he had so much lag last time.
It got better by the end of the raid, but for the first 3 days, I don't want to. Although juggling repair is getting interesting now too, between all the TLCs and the VXP. There's not a good target. They just gave us a siege hull, and they just told us to go rank it in an assault target for a cannon with very low ship damage, very low accuracy, and ballistic damage, which these ships are very likely resistant to.
And
So
don't forget to do. Yeah, and don't forget to do your FM too while you're at it, while you're repairing all that other stuff.
Yeah, by the way. Okay.
I'm just smiling. My brother's just trying to auto 111 to show us, and now his auto fleet is just sitting there taking water rounds. It's got stuck.
That's awesome. Perfect timing.
Oh, you couldn't get it better.
Oh,
So
Nobby,
that's the auto
awesome.
fleet, by the way. Look, and it's just sitting there getting pounded by mortars now.
Oh boy.
Nobby, thank you very much for taking one for the team.
He's probably on the BP app, and because he's at work, and he's probably, oh look, it's moving now.
He just decided to start going.
Right into the mines. Oh.
Well, it's on auto. I think it's on the BP app. So
no, that's not on auto because it's not stopping now. I think he just had it and was like,
he just had enough. He's just driving it now. Oh dear. It's not just me. That's
I
good.
can't blame him.
No, exactly. All that for 150 points.
Yeah, I mean...
Also run the gauntlet.
Yeah. Run the gauntlet.
Oh, man. Something just funny.
Hurt.
That couldn't be more timely, could it?
That was perfect timing.
Oh. Cheers, Nobby. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
You're doing the community a good service.
As ever.
That was great.
I want you to post in the chat a minute what the damage is. It doesn't look that bad, actually, considering. That was quite.
Well, it looked like he was shooting down most of the mortars too. So that's a plus.
So
thankfully.
Don't auto. Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me started on the AI for autoing either. I mean, just the repair alone, because look, if you're doing your FM and you're doing that and you're taking, I don't know if he posted up or not how much damage, and you still have to get all of those points, which one do you do first? Do you do your FM? Do you do your VXP? Do you do the TLCs? I mean, where am I supposed to fit in base hitting in this?
Well, he's got 22 minutes fixed. That wasn't too bad.
How many? 22 minutes. Yeah. And how many time limited campaigns are we going to have next week?
Oh, yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Bounty.
And they're going to be repeats. I think what they should do personally is, because right now we have the two big things that cause a fair amount of damage is the FM with a full gambit of prizes, the XP weekend. They ought to make all the TLCs that are released this week 2-week TLCs as opposed to a single-week TLC to make it much more manageable for the players, because normally there's no TLCs the following week when we have nothing going on. At least that's the way they've been doing it historically, and that's why I've been the other thing I've been pushing for, let's just do the mega one this week, and then the following week or the week afterwards, throw a bunch of TLCs because there's too many things going on.
Well, we got Bounty next week.
Yeah, Bounty's next week. But then again, if you're not a PvPer, actually having those TLCs on for an extra week, not going to do any harm, is it?
Well, you have 2 repair queues next week.
Wouldn't do any harm.
That's true.
Because if you're not one person that's doing the PvP stuff, then and you're only a PvE player, then at least you've got something to do. Otherwise, you've got no TLCs to do, and then all of a sudden, it's Brian all over. And then you can take your time over 2 weeks and get them all done.
14 runs of TLCs, and I don't even know how many 117s. I didn't even do that math to get everything, because the limited prizes, we're not sure if they come back next week. How many are there going to be? How many can we get in a month? We have no idea. So we're conditioned to try to get them all, because sometimes they disappear.
Yeah.
And
you're strongly encouraged to do that.
Yeah, and I was going to say the TLCs, I'm sure part of it is incentivizing coining, because when you have this many, I'm sure there are people that are going to be like, oh no, I got to do this, I got to get everything, and they're going to coin through it, which
I'm still debating to do the last round of Titan Rising, because that's not the easiest one either.
I don't think the mastery round of Primus is worth it if you're going to cut one, because it gives you crappy phalanx replacements that you don't have weight problems on the holes that you'd put this on anyway. And that hyper whatever, it's only good if you have all 5 so that you match your fleet. And even then you have to do the no.
Well, the Hyper 20 installation, yeah.
Yeah, that one. And I don't even remember what the third prize
Hyper
was,
20 installation.
because I'm being tilted by a chat member.
Yeah, that missile defense system, which is a limited thingy anyway, so you got to take off phalanx to put that on.
Oh, that's right, the ballistic things. Oh no, can we not?
Reinforced layer armor, yeah.
Yeah, can they just? Can you guys just make that R15 and show that, please? Kickside, can you just do that? Because otherwise, it's completely useless. We already have better stuff than that. It's the Forsaken stuff we had since the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
come on, guys.
Yeah. Okay, who do we get to in the queue? Yeah, Hefe.
Yeah, I think I've got everything out there, in the last couple of minutes, as far as my parting thoughts on everything between the countermeasures and the overload of TLCs, and then I think I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I mucked it all up. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, it's okay. I mean, the only thing I'm wondering, I'm just hoping that the Inferno Dragon flagship is actually going to be more effective than the Savage Kodiak. I have my doubts.
That's my question. I was thinking, right, is it going to be more effective than a 5th dragon, and considerably more effective than using the Cody? Because otherwise, it's a lemming, just like the Punisher flag.
Yep.
Gridiron.
Yeah, Gridiron's better. You have to go to a very big level of disappointing if you want to get to the Punisher flag.
Yeah, you're right above. You're right there with the Avenger.
The Gridiron. Every time I
Red
hear
Sea?
that name, I just start cussing in my head. 2 days before the damn raid, mother.
Nah, mate, nothing beats the Man of War. Nothing beats that. That's put me off building those freaking super holes for the rest of my life.
Can you take that into the Primus?
I don't know.
Is it Siege? Maybe you could.
Mark, you should try and see if you can bring it in.
Nope. I've recycled it. It's gone. I got rid of it. It was the hardest ship ever to rank, and then I built it, which cost a gazillion days, and then I went into 6 targets. I went, yeah, that was rubbish, and then never found another thing that I could use it on. Everything was faster than it, could outrange it. It was a piece of
now with your drones, if you have that in your base and it's throwing those oil slicks in for the drones, I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, there's other toys out there now which is better. So and the fix, it's just fixed time. 2 days and freaking 16 hours fix. I was I don't think so somehow. Anyway, Rum, what about you?
I think if you do the Titan campaign, make sure that you have room for the tokens, because there's only 18 of them, and I think you can win 24.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I
are you
believe
kidding me?
so.
They did it there too?
I'm
Son of
pretty
a
sure they
bitch.
did, yeah.
Well, that's a bit naughty.
And, you know, for all the fun that PvP has been this week, I still don't think it's fixed because it's just a pendulum swing. We went from
Yeah.
one direction to the
Well,
other.
we won't. Yeah, we won't know until over damage comes in because I've gotten hit a couple times. I've gotten one person come in and then like 4 that have died. So
I think someone's playing with the PvP switch. They're turning functions on and off.
that little keyboard
Like the
that we
slider.
had before, yeah, the slider.
Yeah, like a graphic equalizer. They're sliding. They're just flipping, putting the switches up and down, and having a bit of fun at the moment. So
Built-in randomness. At least that way they can try to say, "Hey, look, we're working on it."
mega. So I'm looking at the mega tokens at the moment. What were the ones that you could win?
The 6-hour build upgrade tokens.
Oh right, yeah. One day, some of them you can only get 5. You can only stack
Oh,
5 of some
what
things.
the frick is this?
Yeah, drone bridge build token. You can only stack 5. Concrete rocket 5.
It's the generic ones, I think. That
Yeah, at the
one
very
was-
end, very bottom.
Yeah, the 6-hour ones.
Oh yeah, you can get 18. And I've already got 18, so I'm probably obviously wasting my time doing that
You
one.
need to spin some, and then if
Yeah.
you do,
And I have, and they limited the 1-day one to 3. I got 3 out of 3. I don't know how many I lost on that one. Holy crap, that sucks.
I didn't even look at that. I must admit. Oh well, there you
sorry,
go.
guys.
There's a noob move by me. I didn't even look at that's
Why? But why would they limit the Mega Hull one? I mean, they want people to participate in Mega Hull builds and stuff. I mean, what the hell?
George, why do they do anything they do?
I can generally find some sort of reasoning for a lot of it. For this right here,
However,
can't.
Oh, well.
Find it for however lame it is, because it's just pointless the way they do some of the things.
I generally think there's some good intentions. Sometimes. No. In fact, I generally think there is some good intentions. It's just sometimes it doesn't come across in the actual live game for some reason. I have no idea why. Like I said, I'm not a programmer. It's just, yeah, it is what it is. Right, Venom. What about you?
Firstly, don't be a noob and pop your bubble before 25% is fixed. Yeah, I did that. It wasn't fun. Just for the record, I still won. It's all good.
Okay. But something not to repeat.
Yeah, don't repeat that. It's not fun. You have a nice panic moment.
Sense of adventure. That's what it does, right? He's on a sense of adventure.
Do as Venom
And the guy-
says, not as Venom does.
Yeah, and the guy was sitting right outside too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Whoops.
Yeah, and yeah, I need 3 medals for 700.
Oh, mate. You have some of mine, mate, but I don't know how many I've got, so I haven't got a clue. Probably not enough for you to even get any.
I'm almost done. I can finish with PvP.
Yeah. I'm one of those people that clearly can't play because I don't do medals, so I saw that comment today on one of the pages, made me smile. You're no good unless you've got medals. Comment or whatever it was. I smiled at that. Clearly I suck. Doesn't matter.
I'm a noob.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That'll us 20 past. That's an hour and 20. That's enough. We're not doing a Hefe special. So I'll just say thanks all for coming on live. That's been good. I really don't know if we actually achieved anything tonight, but at least we had a good chat for a bit. So we might have just got something out of our system, if nothing else. Nick's in there. Have you been banned, Mark? No, I haven't been banned, Nick, ever. I've been scanned, but not banned. I don't know why he's asked that question. That's random. Oh, I know why he's asking that question. Yeah, that's enough of that now. All those in the live chat, thanks very much for joining in. I'll close the show and then we'll put up the link and we'll have it. We'll have the hangout open for another half hour or so you can come and join in if you didn't want to do so live on the show. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next week when we're going to be talking about the Bounty 11. Is that right?
Yeah,
What was the price for Bounty 11? I didn't see a new Reaver hull. That's right.
Yeah, there's a new Reaver, which is obviously then going to be throwers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be throwers or launchers.
Radioactive. He said throwers, I think.
Well, throwers is
there'll be another rage. Another Rainer's Rage then, so it'll be great. And it'll last, last about 10 days.
Oh, Vegas or refit incoming. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If it has a rage ability, because I was asking that in the live chat, because I'm thinking 2.5 million points of for hit points. and you hit a rage, shroud, oh, that's not going to be a good day.
No, you're right. It's not.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, it depends how they space them out.
I
the drone-
don't care how they space them out.
the drone is already in there for the counter. So you run the drones into this, and it doesn't matter that they're shrouded. The drone will explode on them.
Should do, shouldn't it? Yeah.
Actually, it wouldn't trigger the drone to explode unless it kills the drone.
Well, yeah,
Then
the
that's
drone
how
has
it-
to die,
Yeah, the drone has
but it
to
can
die.
still happen.
You heard it here first. Right. We'll look forward to seeing that.
Good night,
I'm sure
everybody.
Venom will try that out.
Yep.
He's the sort of person that would. Right. I'm getting off of here because it's that time. Thanks
Yeah,
very much. And speak to you on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when the update is. Okay. Take care.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.